There's a lot of people that's very, very upset about this situation. There's a lot of people that think this Nolan Wells situation is funny, but I promise y'all, there's nothing to joke about. There's nothing to laugh about. American history just got darker. Not because the influx of Haitian immigrants. I'm talking about the fact that Nolan Wells lost his life on Horn Island, which was already considered to be a very evil place. A lot of people don't even understand or know the history of Horn Island and how it got the name Horn Island. It's been demonic for a long time. It's right off the coast of Mississippi. And if you know anything about Mississippi, it has a deep, hateful history, especially when it comes to African Americans. But you can take it before that, and the slaughter of Native Americans in that region only adds to the eeriness of this area. Now there's been reports coming out about sightings, paranormal activities in the area, just like Lake Lanier. Usher lost his son at Lake Lanier. For the people that know, and for the people that don't know, we're going to be diving into that a little more in this video. So Nolan may or may not get justice for the crimes committed against him, but they're saying that Lake Lanier feels a whole lot different after his passing on the 4th of July. It happened on a holiday. It's going to be memorial for a long time. I'm just hoping that it don't turn into what's that Bermuda Triangle situation, because if it does, it's going to be a lot of people stuck in Mississippi, and I know y'all trying to find a way out. Haunting new Nolan Wells search pic show an empty island just before tragic teen's body was found on the sand. And that's unusual. There's always somebody on Horn Island, but when they found his body, nobody was around. It was a ghost town. Nobody wanted no parts of that. And that's what got people believing that a lot of people was involved. A lot of people witnessed what happened. A lot of people participated in whatever happened to Nolan. We don't have the proof of exactly what happened, but we know that he died on Lake Lanier, not Lake Lanier, but Horn Island, and his body washed up on the shore. And when it washed up on the shore, just 2 days later, after the 4th, it was a ghost town. If that's not scary, I don't know what to tell y'all. Now we're going to get to Nolan. We're going to talk about his family. We're going to talk about his mother. We're going to talk about his father's latest outburst. But before we do that, I want to give you guys a quick history lesson about Lake Lanier. And before we get to that quick history lesson, I want y'all to hear the latest and greatest of what's going on with Nolan Wells. Take a listen at this.
Talk to sound off.
Y'all won't even believe this shit. Stand with Nolan Wells' targeted friends. They are trying to raise $100,000. These little sons of bitches are out here trying to get sympathy donations, and they've already raised over $20,000.
Oh, wow.
Saying on Independence Day weekend 2026, lives were changed forever when a group of friends lost their best friend. No family should have to endure the pain of losing a son, and no friend should have to grieve the loss of a brother. Of a brother? You mean the brother that you left? Allegedly. You mean the brother that you allegedly left after he had been drinking? Allegedly. You mean the brother where you literally didn't go to the funeral? You're literally making this about you and not about Nolan right now. This is victimhood. But I'm not surprised. I'm never surprised by the caucasity of you people.
Right.
She'll never have to deliver pizzas again after that one. She's a star. Home run, sis. Home run. Give her a round of applause. Everything she said was on point. Get nothing but kudos for that. Her and her girlfriend can move in a mansion after this, because that was, whew, I'm over here. I'm floored. She took us all the way home with that one. Can you imagine going to Horn Island as a black person in 2026, 2027? Would you plan a vacation there? Would you be excited to take your family out there, especially if you're not from Mississippi? I know my people in Mississippi, a lot of y'all will feel comfortable going to Horn Island, but for the people that never been to Mississippi, are you excited about going to Mississippi? Do you have a reason to go to Mississippi? If you don't, you might want to stay away from there. And for all the people in Georgia that want to be around some water, go to Florida, go to Savannah. Stay away from Lake Lanier. Listen at this, y'all.
11 people have died in drowning or boating accidents on Lake Lanier this year, including a father and son. Charged with responding to all of those calls are divers with the local fire department.
11 Alive's Caitlin Ross shows you what they deal with under the surface of Lake Lanier. It's dangerous and deadly environment.
Clear and calm on the surface, Lake Lanier is anything but.
You can get yourself in trouble really quickly.
Lanier was built in the 1950s to provide drinking water and hydroelectric power for Atlanta. Recreation was an afterthought.
As they were building the lake, they raised the water level up to a certain point well below what we know of today as full pool, and then stopped filling the water.
From there, construction crews floated on the lake, cutting off the trees about halfway.
So today, those stumps are still there, and they're tall because this was forest land and farmland.
Also beneath the surface, old homes, barns, even a racetrack, which famously surfaced during the 2007 drought. You could see the tops of the stands, a haunted memory, waiting for spectators to show up for the next race. It's all good now, but when the next drought comes...
When that does, everyone needs to use extreme caution on the lake.
The Forsyth or Hall County dive teams respond to every rescue and recovery call.
Generally within the first...
They drowned the whole town with the residents intact. Whole cities, whole communities, hospitals, schools, while the kids was in school, racetracks, the horses, everything the black people owned went under the water. So for Nolan to get tossed aside like that, that's nothing in the blip of American history. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. Now we got to figure out, where can we go in America that's not haunted? Unless you just want to ignore the facts. A lot of people get by ignoring the facts. You could be living on a haunted Indian burial ground and you wonder why your neighborhood is so bad. For the people in Maryland, Baltimore, you wonder how the accent got like that. That accent comes from torture. There's a lot of people and places, and you don't even know the history of where you are. People get up and move to Roanoke, Virginia, not understanding that the Blair Witch is in the projects. Let's get back to Nolan, because there's some more stuff that I need for y'all to hear. Listen at this.
Surprised by the caucasity of you people.
Right here, this is what white privilege is called. White privilege, right here. Right here. It is disgusting. They're not raising money for Nolan's family. They're not helping out. No, it's only about them. This is what they've been doing since day one, protecting their own asses. That's all they care about. You know what someone said to me the other day? You're really judging these white boys. Have you not opened your eyes and seen how they are moving? How their family is moving? What their actions are? How their behavior is? How their body language is? How they're even expressing stuff? You don't go on some racist mega podcast guy and you get interviewed by him. No, you don't do that. If you actually care about the family and care about Nolan, you would be doing everything to find answers.
Now,
Oh man, this is sick, y'all. It's sick. They done fucked up Horn Island. You can't even go there and have a good time, regardless of what your race is. You might get snatched in the water. There's sightings, people talking about they seen Nolan. They scared to go. They know what they did. They better hope Nolan is really dead, because if he come back in a trench coat, it's going to be another Scream movie. I'm hurt because, not only because Nolan passed away, but the lack of support that he's getting now that he's gone. People think that it's a done deal. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. He's no longer here. People already are moving on. But the reason why I'm making this video is to let y'all know that his energy is still well and alive. And it may be stronger now than ever. And seeing that Horn Island was the last place he was, if you go there, you might want to bring a crucifix, depending on what you have planned when you go there. No drinking for sure. If you plan on going to Horn Island and drinking, you're going to be thinking about Nolan the whole time, especially if you was black. I'm sure that a lot of people are going to celebrate the 4th of July a whole lot different next year. It may be a sickening celebration. 2027, 4th of July on Horn Island. They're going to be looking for the brothers out there. And if you get caught out there, whatever happens after that, I don't even think it need to make the news, because everybody should know better at this point. But moving along, I want y'all to hear about the subpoenas that's being issued in the Nolan Wells case. Take a listen at this.
Covering Mississippi now, local attorney Reagan Charleston Thomas is sharing her insight on the Nolan Wells case. This comes after the legal team for Nolan's mother, Christine Wansley, issued subpoenas to several social media companies. The legal team wants messages and pictures from Nolan's accounts as they work to figure out what led up to his mysterious death on Horn Island over the 4th of July weekend. Charleston Thomas says it's unusual to issue subpoenas to a third party unless a civil suit is actively ongoing.
Now, this when the freaky stuff comes into play. Would you want somebody going through your phone? All that weird shit you put on ChatGPT, do you want somebody to see that? Your nudes? The person with low self-esteem that you convinced to flash those boobs, do you want them to see that? You in a vulnerable situation on the toilet, freestyling, making a beat with your gas. You don't want them to see that video. That time you was bored and you was making it clap with your breast and you a man and you thought that was so funny you had snot coming out your nose when you was recording it. Would you want them to see that? The text messages between your hoes, even though your main girl is madly in love with you. And for you men out there, you got a male boo on the side and he tossing it up like Tupac in some boy shorts. Do you want them to see that? They're about to go through all his information. Ben Crump might lose respect after he sees some of that stuff. They're about to see another side of Nolan. And I'm not saying he got something weird or strange in his phone, but come on, man, who don't? Y'all be on some other stuff. Me, I'm a Mormon. So I'm not included in this conversation, but I know for a fact that when they start going through all of this stuff, I got a feeling, and hey, I know people get mad and people think I joke and laugh about everything. I don't know why. It don't get no serious than this. Just because I keep it 1,000 don't mean I'm trying to be funny. But I'm under this suspicion that they could have possibly had some weird relationships going on between them boys. We're talking about young people in 2026. It don't sound far-fetched. The way they was in those pictures had me raising eyebrows. I was happy to hear about Katie for the most part because I thought that they would have to dive deeper and expose whatever they had going on between them boys. Look. Ain't no jelly rolls nowhere. They all six packed up. They're all what you girls would consider hot. They're on a boat, hoochie daddy pants. I mean, but what do I know? You know, they just some bros out there hanging out or whatever the case is, but they look mighty proud of themselves and mighty proud of each other. People saying that Bart was jealous because Nolan was with Katie. What if he was jealous that Katie was with Nolan? Only time will tell, but all I'm trying to say is they're going to find out when they go through his personal business and his phone. And whatever they find, they could possibly paint a whole different picture about Nolan if they wanted to take it there and give it to the public. But there's a catch. If Horn Island is really haunted like a lot of people are reporting, they might not want to with Nolan at all. They might want to let it rest. We might all want to let it rest and let him rest. Let's move on.
Despite this, she tells News Nation the family should receive most of the data.
WhatsApp may be a little bit more difficult because of the end-to-end encryption and how that data is stored on their servers, or if it's stored at all. But as it relates to the other social media companies, if valid third-party subpoenas are issued, those companies should have those requests or the data responsive to those requests, and it should be produced to the family.
And if you have any information that can help the ongoing investigation, you're asked to please call the tip line on your screen. That number is 888-991-1772. And you could be eligible for a $175,000 reward.
Imagine how many stuttering bastards call that tip line talking about they seen sightings. They heard eerie sounds on Horn Island. Just imagine the grandmothers out there bored. Percocets cost $50 a pill. Imagine how many freaky old men that got a tip for the line. They're in line holding their tips, hoping to get a chance to bang that jackpot. Do not, I repeat, do not go to Horn Island under any circumstances, because it's a possibility you might not make it back. They're claiming that it's turning into Lake Lanier. Like I said, we're going to be going back and forth with this thing. I want you guys to get a clear understanding of what could possibly be going on Horn Island. It could possibly be the new Lake Lanier.
We're in what we call rescue mode. We're hoping that we can rescue someone.
No, I don't want to lose a diver.
Divers deal with frigid temperatures, near zero visibility, and all of those underwater hazards.
The bridges are like the trash bin for anyone traveling down the roads. They blew the old bridges in place, so you have concrete, rebar.
The divers work in teams, one person in the water and the other on the shore. They're tethered together by a rope and communicate by tugs on the rope. Divers say they never know what they're going to find.
It's bad enough that you got a loss of life, but you see their grieving family. And that's really why we do this. I couldn't imagine as a father, as a brother, as a son, to see one of my loved ones disappear and have to go by this lake every day and just wonder.
Y'all should have never blew the lake up. They should have never destroyed that lake or that town and turned it into a lake. Now we have a similar situation brewing in Mississippi. And the residents of Mississippi, a lot of them, they're keeping it real, man. I got to hand it to the people in Mississippi of all nationalities that can care less about the narrative, and they want to tell the truth because they understand that karma is headed back in their direction just for living in the area. It'll never be the same after this. They all know what happened was wrong, and it made international news. And they got to represent for Mississippi. and let the world know where they stand. And that's why you see a lot of stuff like this online. Look at this.
To show you what the real investigation has confirmed, right up to this week.
I just want to insert my opinion for like 2 seconds on the Nolan Wells case because I just saw where Nancy Grace came out with the transcribed S.A.T call. And here's my thing. I'm from the South, so I feel like I can speak on this because I grew up around nothing but racist, okay? And so as someone with this skin, I feel like I could speak out on this. Here's my questions. Why, first of all, so many of y'all want to say that it wasn't murder. Like, so many of y'all were so quick to say it wasn't murder that things happened.
Wait 1 second, you guys.
If that was the case, then why do none of the friends know what happened?
Hold on, y'all. We got to get this together. Hello. Who this is?
What's up? It's Jamie.
Oh, Jamie is on the phone, everybody. We're so glad you called in. What's on your mind tonight?
Just trying to figure out what you're talking about, this Nolan haunted sightings.
Yeah, there's been reports that Lake Lanier is, experiencing activities as usual, but now Horn Island is experiencing similar paranormal activities after the Nolan Wells situation. And it's unfortunate because I was hoping it wouldn't turn into this, but now, especially with it being a major holiday, it's looking like the situation is getting worse by the day.
I think I know what might be going on.
Okay.
That lettuce. They all eat that lettuce.
We're talking about Nolan Wells. Was there something funny that happened that I missed, or was there a joke?
They ate that lettuce island.
You said what happened?
They ate that lettuce.
Who ate the lettuce?
I gotta go.
Oh, okay. No problem. Somebody ate some lettuce. I thought she had Bieber teeth. Maybe she looked like a rabbit. Get her a carrot or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But either way, thank her for a phone call. Where were we? Somebody ate some. Hey, it is what it is. Let's move on. We got to get back to this.
Furthermore, Nancy Grace just released a S.A.T call. Anybody in their right mind, if you hear what was on that call in the background where they're asking, is someone dead? First things first, you're not going to call S.A.T. You're going to call 911, typically, if you're worried about someone. Secondly, why did you turn down Coast Guard when they asked if you needed the Coast Guard? If you are sinking, and if there is that shit going on in the background, like what they're asking about is someone dead, you should say yes to any bit of help that you can get, right? I also think it's odd that all of them got rid of their social media. None of them have really had much of an explanation.
And that is so true. I want to share something with y'all. Just stay tuned. Let me get this together. Just stay tuned. It's only going to take a second, I promise. Okay, the kids were drinking on the boat. You know, they call it wine and spirits for a reason. And seeing how they were on Horn Island drunk and everything just went haywire. There's psychics and mystics out there. They're reading tarots and they're doing all different types of spiritual investigations into this thing. They're bringing up the facts that Nolan's friends' grandparents, even those that are deceased, great-grandparents had a lot to do with why Mississippi has so many racist ties. With the alcohol being involved and those kids being out there on that island, the boat broke down. Nolan died. It was one thing after another. He called the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard heard everything on his phone. His grandfather called. All of these implications, all these things happening at once. It's like it was a cosmic shit show. on the 4th of July, on Independence Day, dealing with these individuals. Now they manage to rack up $100,000 from their supporters, and Nolan's family is not getting a dime of that. Well, they're saying Nolan's family is close to $1 million right now. But the history aspect of this, regardless of how much money they make, how many donations they receive, rather if they go to jail or not, Horn Island will forever be changed. But it got me thinking, with the history of Mississippi, it could have already been a horrible place. Before the internet, imagine what could have took place on Horn Island. Imagine who suffered, who got away with God knows what on that island. And nobody lived to talk about it. The stuff that happened there that didn't make the news. And with all that compiled to what's going on today, I think everybody needs to avoid going there.
They do what your typical white people do in those circumstances. Look at the Murdoch case, and there was no one of color in that case. But because they were prominent Caucasians surrounding around that death of the girlfriend, they did everything they could to cover up and get him out of it. The same rules apply to this, and like in my head, the same rules apply to this. They were both situations were boating. And in those situations, someone unfortunately lost their life. But getting back to the Nolan case, hearing that voice, like hearing that recording of them asking for, or just asking if someone is dead in the background, how is it that you're clueless and you have no idea what could have happened to him? That call, like there's a reason why Nancy Grace got her bob fixed to the heavens, honey. That thing wouldn't move in hurricane force winds.
She did. I seen it. Nancy, it was whipped. She put on her little freakum dress too. Nancy been shopping at the beauty supply store for those blouses, man, and then she get the hair to go along with it. It was on fleek. Now her fans are getting their Nancy Grace on, and I love it. Shit, I'm gonna pop in the Dolly Parton TV dinner as soon as I'm done with this live stream. I swear I am. This is good for America. Listen at this.
The colored community that been talking about me ain't gonna condemn none of this.
I'm trying right now. Your son is a piece of shit, and he's about to get all the way up. Don't run now, you. Use a punk just like your son. You him. You guys are gonna get what the coming to you. I know he killed that little kid, man. You guys aren't. Your wife ain't. All you racist pieces of shit. All you.
All right, next one. See the B.
Yeah, nah, answer the phone. You and your folks think y'all ass so smart, so slick. All these other your son gonna get.
Oh, he definitely from Atlanta.
The worst of it, and he know it. He know it. Y'all ain't say. Y'all can't say that little nigga. Y'all can't say y'all self. But just know it coming. It real coming.
It real coming.
Y'all sons and them gonna disable their account and all this other Bruce style. They know what's going on. They know what they did. They disabled that shit for a reason. They lowered up for a reason. They gonna follow this ass for a reason. They know. Yo.
Tatum been waiting to kill it since he joined the police force. Let's be real. They speaking his language. He want to pop somebody in the head and live stream it. That's what he want to do. Don't give Tatum the rope, because he going to figure out a way to get it around you, your mama, your cousins, all y'all neck at once. He got the hate in his eyes. He remember getting bullied in school. People picking on him, calling him China boy. He's still mad. His father is the man from the 2 Live crew, allegedly the Chinese one. And he made his mama pop, allegedly. So people need to be careful when you fooling with Officer Tatum, because he's ready. Listen.
Was scared to answer that phone because you know what's going on. And ain't nobody scared of y'all white ass on Jesus. face y'all. Ain't nobody worried about y'all. Ain't nobody scared about y'all. But y'all better be worried about that boy. Cause I promise you something gonna happen to his ass.
You know how crazy this is? Do you know how hateful and racist these people are to come call somebody to say that to them? And you know how deranged people gotta be? They deactivate their accounts because they're getting threatened like this. They deactivate their account because y'all fools calling them and want to talk about you gonna kill them. Y'all done got a lawyer because they get accused of murder. They're being accused of murder. Y'all, they didn't go to the funeral. Cause y'all threatened to kill them. Y'all all saying that they did this. Why they gonna show up at a funeral for y'all to do something to him?
Somebody need to interview his wife ASAP. Cause what is she doing? Her mac and cheese must be hitting for him to be like this. His wife was a part of the twerk team back in the day. She had to in order to get him to flip like this. Cause I don't know what in the Get Out happened with Officer Tatum. And I've only been with sisters. I wouldn't know what that do. But I've heard stories that once you grin you in and you figure out ways to get some paper in your pocket, you gotta get paid. You can't just be sitting around doing nothing. Selling dime bags and nicks and doing street shit. No, you have to get your entrepreneur on once you go that route. Can't be sitting around playing 2K. But that's for a whole nother video. There's a possibility that Nolan's spirit is haunting Horn Island. And for his friends, they think it's all fun and games because they got Officer Tatum on their side, but what are they going to do when they're met with paranormal activities?
A lot of praying, a lot of just leaning on each other in this moment and just taking it day by day. That's really all we can do right now. It's been hard. You know, every day is different. Really, every second is different. Which is something people need to understand. Grief is not one emotion, right? It's multiple emotions and they're all happening at the same time. And so it's just like 1 minute I can be I can be okay like this and I can talk about it. And then the next minute I'm breaking down in tears because it's a constant reminder, because if I'm being honest, we really just have not had time to fully grieve with everything that's going on.
This is your baby.
That's her baby. Rest in peace to Nolan. And I want to give a special shout out to his mother. Stay strong. And for his father, his family, everybody stay strong. I made this video to let y'all know that America is dealing with a deeper, darker history now more than ever. And it's looking like it's a possibility. It's not going to get any better. But I advise y'all to pray about the situation, man. You got to pray for your loved ones and pray for your enemies too. So I'm asking y'all to pray for Nolan and his family, and also for Bart, Katie, the boys that was on the boat, because they're going to find out. It's not over. They need your prayers. Because what's coming, if they've been lying, we don't got all the details, but they're about to go through Nolan's phone and they're going to get everything. I don't know if they're going to spill it to the public. All I hope is that Nolan's mom and his family get some justice, and I would love to know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I got so much love for everybody. I'll see y'all on the next video.